Hello peeps, Julia Jordan, your favorite real estate agent, coming to you with good news. I just got a big old listing in my neighborhood, Glenlock Farms, what I'm very happy and excited about, and we are off to a very good start, going with a strong open house, etc., etc. All the marketing machinery is already up and running. And then I wanted to share with you about the listing that I did not get. So we don't want to be sore losers if we don't get a listing, but we also want to analyze why we didn't get the listing. And I am not very good to losing. I try to not be a sore loser when I'm losing. But what I did is, so I lost against an agent who is dominating a certain neighborhood. I'm sorry, the banging, I'm getting a new roof, so maybe there's some noise. I lost against an agent who is dominating a certain neighborhood, and I was like, okay, maybe this agent is just simply better, but maybe not. So I did my analysis, and I believed I was very prepared for the listing for the neighborhood, and we can pull up all the data in that neighborhood. I knew who sold, for how much, if they had a price deduction, what is never good for the seller's value, how long the property was on the market, if the property was listed, then terminated, and then relisted because they wanted to start the days on market over. Us agents can see that, the public cannot see that. So all the little tricks and back alleys that us agents are using, I looked at all of that, and I am usually very prepared for my listing presentations, and I have a very high conversion. I'm not very used to talking to people and not getting the listing or not getting the buyer to sign up with me and representing them. And while I do not show that at all to the person that gave the listing to someone else, I definitely go back in my office and sometimes shed a tear. In this case, I held it together, but I do my little research and I'm looking up that agent. In this case, I looked up the agent, and it is actually that agent that had several price deductions on almost all of the listings. And the days on market had a star, what means to us that listing was active before, did not sell, they terminated, and then they relisted the property to make the clock start over. And usually they do that, and then they have a price deduction, so it looks like a new listing finally priced right. So this is what we had. We were 35 days on the market, and then the property finally sold, what is usually not good for the value. We had a price deduction. I'm not disclosing names, I'm not disclosing addresses, because I don't want to slander someone. I just want to use it as an example that when you pick an agent and there is another agent who seems to have her act together like me, maybe you ask 2-3 more questions on why is that agent dominating. That agent lives in that neighborhood, so this is the immediate sphere of that agent, and she does have a lot of listings because probably she befriends all the neighbors. What is our job as agents? To just be nice to everybody and hopefully have them trust us, and at one point later on selling their house or getting a referral to a friend or things like that. But the other property that was listed was 18 days on the market and was also listed before. And then there was another house 16 days on the market, and they also had a price deduction on that one. So I would be like, okay, this is not helpful for the seller's value. Maybe there is an agent promising a high value. Let's say I say all the comps are showing 400. And there is an agent promising you 500. Who do you want to sign up with? Well, you can listen to the listing strategy who has it priced right. There are ways to create a multiple offer situation to get the value up, and listen through and follow through that thought process. While the number is not as flashy as 500, it might be a very realistic way to create a multiple offer situation to get the price up and also to find a solid buyer. Or you go with a flashy number, 500, you know your house is only 400 because you're watching the neighborhood and you do know the prices in your neighborhood, right? Most sellers are pretty educated, but you are flashed by that number and you feel a little bit complimented on your house, thinking, oh my gosh, there's someone else believing in 500. That is amazing. And you're a little bit bedazzled by that. So you say, you know what? Yes, I want 500. Of course, everybody wants 500. If I create your multiple offer situation and I potentially get it up there, good for me, because I will brag with that later in that neighborhood and to all other listing appointments that I have in the near future, use it as an example. But that other agent, when that other agent is known for many days on the market and is known for having price deductions 30, 40, 50K, that is quite off. So we need to watch it if that agent is just overpricing to get the listing and then playing catch up on a slippery slope until it is finally sold. In this case, the sellers want to move out of town. What will mean we will have the roofers. What will mean we will have a vacant home. Vacant homes, we need to be very careful. I recently had squatters. This is a real issue, and we need to be very careful for vandalism and for squatters. So the moment a property is vacant, and it shows vacant on the pictures, so squatters know that, the property theoretically is at risk. We don't want to have a property on the market for months and months. It usually doesn't help the value, what is my highest concern for the sellers, but also you don't want to have a house vacant. It is an invitation to people who are planning to just live there for free, and then you literally in the state of Texas, what is a gap in the law, but you literally have to evict them if they are illegally in your property and just squatting there. And you have to keep utilities on, so people are excited for free AC and free housing, and even better if there is a fridge still in the property getting sold with it. But so there is a risk. I don't want to make it funny. There is a risk of having a house long on the market. Also, as the seller, you get worn out because at that point you carry two mortgages. You may be qualified for selling after you already purchased the new property, but at that point you have two mortgages to carry, two insurances, two of everything, HOA, mud district, all of that, and it is a stretchy situation to a seller. So no seller wants to carry that longer than needed. In this case, the seller left me a little voicemail saying they want to move on with a different agent who's the expert in the area. What is true, this agent is actually in that neighborhood. I do not believe in the listing strategy. I have a different approach to getting my sellers under contract quickly and for the highest possible price. We're not giving away properties in that manner. We simply create an auction effect by being priced right, coming across as a solid, reasonable listing, and then having it priced in a way that we create interest. We're the best listing in the neighborhood, pretty, priced right, no reason to not look at our listing. We have a lot of traffic. We do a mega open house. We build up a hype. We have a lot of qualified buyers that we as the listing side can pick from. We pick the strongest buyer, and in the meantime we try to create an auction effect and we try to get everybody up to their highest number, and that is usually where the money comes to the table. Usually the money does not come to the table by being 30 days on the market, having finally one crazy buyer who's willing to offer or close to. At that point we are desperate. At that point we need to execute with whoever comes across. We're just thankful that someone looks at our listing, that someone took pen to paper and wrote up an offer, and at that point the seller is worn out and basically says, okay, agent XYZ, we just need to sell because this is not successful. We are not getting the amount that you promised us. The seller is frustrated, but at that point it's already too late, and usually they don't switch agents. Very rarely listing agents get fired for not performing, because at that point also the seller has to admit, you know what, I believed in the shiny object. Actually, I did know that the property with 400 was probably spot on, and at that point, but it's too late already, they understood that they maybe could have maneuvered differently with more success, without burning through funds for paying two mortgages, but at that point it is too late. So that's why I usually have a very high conversion when I get referred. Those people that refer me, they know me from videos like this. They know that I don't fuzz around. I don't try to impress. I just give you the bare meat of where I do see the value. I'm very bold. I'm very honest. I disclose all the strategies like I do in these videos. Real estate is no rocket science. It's not that hard. Sometimes we have an outliner, but 99% of the listings are very straightforward as long as we price them right. And there is a strategy to success. But if you want to go with the shiny object, you are free to do so. I wished them multiple times. They were very nice people, you know, they did not mean any harm to me. They just want to sell their house with who they consider the expert in that area or on the listing site. And while we texted back and forth, and I wished them all the best and a happy new start in the town they're moving to, and a smooth and a quick and easy and straightforward transaction, what very well might happen. I do not know the listing strategy on this listing for them with that other agent, and I do wish them all the best. But in the meantime, I was hitting on my neighborhood where I have my listing. We did not have time to send out invitations to the taco truck and mimosa open house via mail. So I literally had to print them very on rush order and got them out to all the neighbors, hand delivered by me. I was sweating. I met a lot of neighbors, was so nice. They complimented me on my 75-day hard because they all know me. So I am definitely the expert here, and this is my hood, but we are also the expert in basically every neighborhood that is in our range. For me, that is the wider Houston area. I go all the way up to Huntsville, I go all the way down to Galveston, and then east and west, of course, of Houston, Richmond, and then east of downtown, those areas, Fifth Ward. I have a listing there that is closing very soon. So we do everything. I do also need a good agent, you know, and sometimes right now we are battling with a very difficult airship situation, and it is a very low value. There is almost no paycheck for me to be made. But I just came off the phone from the seller and I said, if you would not have listed with me and with a very good title company, we even had to switch title companies because the first one was simply not able to figure out the complexity of an airship situation. Ooh, my roof is coming down. Even those people need, of course, a very good agent who's just in it with all their heart, not always coming after the check, but simply coming from contribution, helping sellers. Oof, the roof is coming down. But of course, I like luxury as well. I love beautiful homes. I love backyard paradises, outdoor kitchens, acreage. I love all of the fancy stuff, and I love also helping those desperate sellers in simple neighborhoods like Fifth Ward or so, but they simply need a professional representation to get it to the closing table. And I just come off the phone, and I think we're very close to the finishing line. And same time, in my own neighborhood, Glenloch Farms, I have a very more on the luxury side listing, and we go all in, and we can be flashy on that one. So that is a whole lot of fun too. And then I have to admit, here and there we lose. I lost against another agent, and I try to be classy and wish them all the best. And I do wish them all the best. And very unlikely, but maybe I'm on the buyer's side. Would be cool, right? I already know the listing. I already know what's going on there. And if I come across anyone, of course, I would show them the house and at least try to be on the listing side, on the buyer side. But the thing is to generate a good sale. And I had friends and they listed with a different agent, believing I could just represent the buyer side. I am not ethically, in our code of ethics, I'm not allowed in the same manner to advertise a property that I do not have listed. So I'm a little bit handcuffed. I cannot basically help them. I'm watching it from the distance. There are certain limits of how much I can say about a listing, and where I have to simply keep quiet and just watch it, because they are represented by another agent, and I definitely don't want to interfere with that and overstep any boundaries that we have simply due to our code of ethics. So I always want to, my roof is really coming down here. I always want to stay super clear, and while I'm not used to be losing, I try to be a good loser and wish them all the best. And also thank you very much for the referral of a friend of mine. The thank you card with a little goodie in it is already on its way, and that friend is very dear to me, and at one point she will be selling with me. So I'm very thankful for everybody who refers me, because usually it's a 99.9% conversion for me. This one I lost out, and that is okay too. I have enough of other things to take care for. So all the best for you guys. If you want to visit my taco truck open house with free mimosas or alcohol-free beverages, tomorrow 12 to 2. Come to my open house, 9618 Kirkstone Terrace. Send me a text message if you want to have the details, and we will drink mimosas and we will get over ourselves and eat tacos. Okay, you guys have a wonderful day. Bye bye.